to eat the euro, and which is going to win out over that. But, now there's going to be so many that are coming onto the space that it will balance itself out. I do believe that it will. It's just going to take some time, and it's going to take some adoption on some larger industries in order to do that.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about the startup you're in right now. So imusify. What are you trying to accomplish and solve with your startup?
Well, right now we are really trying to make sure that the artists are getting paid for their fair use of their rights, and their fair creation, mm-hmm. whatever they're bringing to the market, and whether it's a piece of music that they've thought about and they've produced, and what they want to bring that out to the public and then sell that, or if it's somebody who's going to be like a rendering artist that, it puts playlists together, and he wants to, get paid for that as well. So this is all about fair compensation for artist rights, is really the idea. But the other idea too is that it's also a streaming service, that allows for artists. It's going to be completely peer-to-peer, once we, get the product going, and it's going to be a complete ecosystem that's all in one, that allows for you to connect the fans to the artists and do crowdfunding campaigns. So if somebody is interested in supporting their album, they can go direct to the fans and offer that in our native cryptocurrency, which is IMU. Mm-hmm. And, it'll be a social network as well. So something that you would see for maybe, Facebook or LinkedIn, which connects people directly on a DM, but also in a group setting as well. So you'd have like channels that you can be a part of, and they can be set public or they can be set private. So we're seeing now that's really the interesting piece about cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies, is the fact that you are going aside from the intermediary, aside from the connecting piece, and you're just going direct. So it's completely peer-to-peer. Mm-hmm. I'm going to send you this block, or I'm going to send you this transaction, and we don't need anyone else in the middle. Mm-hmm. So it's completely removing the middleman, and that's what the idea is that we're trying to do with the music industry, and really connect artists, fans, and other stakeholders that are involved in the music industry to create their own ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing, and I that definitely is something that needs to happen. Apart from just like the rights issues that a lot of musicians have. So I think that's fantastic that you guys are building up a platform that allow greater ownership to that. How far along are you in the project right now?
Well,
if you're allowed to say that.
Yeah, of course. No, everything's open source, which is really great. That we're built upon Neo, which all of the code is on GitHub. Okay. So you can look at what we've built. We have a prototype which won an award last November, and it shows the reward systems. It shows the usability of uploading a piece of music to the database, and then doing the smart contract reward system. That was a prototype that was built on Neo, and we got a lot of great reviews from that. And we have a UI UX mock-up as well that shows the interface. And once we go through the ICO, which we are, raising a soft cap and a hard cap for, then we will be able to put all of that back into the ecosystem to develop and keep developing our product. And we have some really exciting ways that we're going to go about it. And we have a great team right now of about 30 people, all distributed. And 10 of them are full-time on the core team.
Okay.
And we have all of our social networks working. And we have a lot of interest, from the community as well as from artists, larger artists. And just emerging artists as well. Because I come from the classical world, I know how difficult it is for classical artists to get, picked up by the traditional label, or get their music produced, or get their project funded. And for me, that was really the connecting piece in this project, was that I said, we've got to think about the people that are just emerging, as well as the people who are already well established, in order for us to provide the same opportunities, but maybe in, of course, a different way. Of course, the people at the top 40 music are going to want to connect with their fans and release their music in a couple different ways, and provide maybe a value that way. Whereas an emerging artist wants to reach a different area of the world that's not maybe in front of them or their local network. And maybe they might be interested in maybe Brazilian music, or, maybe in an African piece that's all done a cappella and it can be recorded. And it'll be a connecting piece, as well as a way for them to be funded on the platform. And that's really what we're trying to build and try to be about, because I've done crowdfunding myself, and I know how difficult it is to compete with other projects that are on there, whether they are, support a children's school and, in Nicaragua, and I'm like trying to say, hey, send me to Europe so I can go sing, so, I mean, it's like a little different level of, of people who are going to be interested in your project. So, right. or willing to support you. So that's what we want to come up with, is that there's nothing out there right now as far as like Kickstarter or Patreon or, Indiegogo, that's just for artists, and just for artists to allow them as a launching pad, to really get their project started. And that's what we want to do. It's not about, sharing in those rights, and it's not about making a profit off of the artist. It's about funding the artist, to get their content and get their creations out there so that everybody can enjoy it in a way that's, fair for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea.
How soon is your ICO, or estimated date?
Yeah, we're going to be doing it in about, I think, about 30 days or so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So July. So you're really soon then.
Really soon, yeah. Probably we're going to be rolling it out about mid-July.
Okay.
I think is when we're going to be doing it. And we've got some great ideas and some really good marketers behind the scenes. So we're excited to bring it to market. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
In your own journey from the different careers and paths you've taken, how have you approached those times when you were fearful, and how have you overcome fear?
Wow. Okay. That's a great question. I think anytime you sort of, meet an opportunity that might be risky, or you may not know the outcome, I think that always instills a certain level of fear, whether, it's stepping on the stage for the first time and, doing a role that you've not done before, or auditioning for a panel of judges that are just, going to be the key to your next success, or starting something up that you have no money or you have no funding, and you're, accepting, services that you're trying to provide. And, you need to do things before you can get success. And we talked about this earlier, but I kind of like to hear more about people's failures than I like to hear about people's successes, because I feel like that propels you, to be more successful. And I think we all need that fear. I think sometimes we're a little too afraid of that fearful sensation in a way, that we need to just push through it. And you really have to take yourself and, just keep going forward, and pick yourself up after it. And this is the other thing in music, and being an artist, is that all really good artists, if they mess up, or if they miss a word, or if they, or have a mind block, they still keep going, because that energy is constantly it's like their currency, they're just constantly in motion. You're constantly going forward. And that's really, when you're talking about design thinking, you're talking about mind, meditation. It's really just that control over your thinking and your way of perpetuating your success. And sometimes you stumble, as you would for anything in the world. But it's about how you're resilient and how you can get back up and keep going.
Mm-hmm. So you've done a very good job of kind of weaving your vocal career as well as your other technical career. Have there been times when you regretted going to school for voice?
Oh, wow. Okay. No, I've never regretted that I went to school for voice. I think for me, it's actually it surprises people because of where I'm at now and my interests that I have, and the fact that I just really love learning. And I love learning more about everything, about how things work, especially when you're looking at coding. It can be super frustrating sometimes to see things in a technical way, and not understand how it fits together. But I always come from the premise of, like, there's got to be a solution for something. Mm-hmm. But I don't ever look back on that and say, gosh, I wish I would have, got a degree in journalism, or I wish I would have got a degree in, I don't know, computer science. Sure. Because I feel that there's always time to keep learning. Mm-hmm. Both my parents actually went back to school and got their, my dad is working on his bachelor's, and my mother worked on his master's in their late 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. So they've always instilled the idea to me that it's never too late, and you can keep learning and you can keep going with something that you're interested in, as long as you set your mind to it. Mm-hmm. But I think that really, being in voice and being in music has only helped that, and it can only help the way that you think about things when you're applying that to the real world. And I just always say it. I when I was working in New York City, and I worked for an agency there, a temp agency, and they said, we had a singer here before last time, and she was really good. And she was, like, really on the ball and very quick. And I'm like, oh, what happened? Why'd she leave? She's like, she got a gig somewhere. That's usually what happens. The singers they're always off and running to the next thing. But they are really good. They always leave a good impression, because they're quick, and we have to, put things in motion, and we just understand. I don't know. It's hard to, I guess it's hard to put it into actual words, but it's not just singers. I'm saying it's all musicians, which is why I think I'm a huge advocate for music education in schools or privately, because that it's one of the four pillars that the Greek philosophers really built their education system on. And to lose that fourth piece, you're really losing out on, the human experience. So I would never say to anyone that I wish I would have gotten a different degree. I'm really proud of my degree. Actually, I wish I would have kept going with my degree. But there's always time for that.
Of course. There's lots of time. And as your voice matures, you'll even have greater range on a couple of different things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So with your own journey and the things that you have accomplished and seen, what would you say has been the best advice you've ever received?
Okay. Gosh, we've yeah, like this question always gets to everyone, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
But you know what? I would have to say mine is very simple. Okay. My mom has always been kind of my hero. She's always been my biggest fan, and it's really simple. She, instead of saying to me, have a good day, she's always said to me, make it a great day. Mm-hmm. And if I could quote her in that, whenever she leaves me, that's what she says. And I always take that into consideration, because you do have ownership over your reality. And sometimes you don't have ownership of the outcome or, of the risk involved that you're part of. But if you just tell yourself that I'm going to do my best to make it great and make whatever I have great, then I can really deal with what I have right now and I can keep going forward. And sometimes that doesn't always work, but that was, her first round of advice. And